destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The Herd with Connor Cowherd. Monday from 10 to 1.
Okay.
Fox Sports 910. KGM in Phoenix. KESC HD3.
Usually you're not that quiet.
Well, half of it's today. Illinois and UConn, the first game up. Clemson and Alabama. Not football, but basketball. That'll be the nightcap. The Brewers have a 3-0 lead over the Mets in the bottom of the first inning. And the first game of the UFL season has started, this one on Fox, with 12:30 left in the second quarter. Birmingham and Arlington tied at 3 apiece. I'm Martin Weiss.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
A good-looking Saturday.
There you are.
At about 82 degrees. It'll be a windy day. Winds pushing 25, 30 miles an hour or so. And a mix of clouds and sunshine. Overnight, though, the rain sets in. 55 degrees with showers after midnight. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Corey McCloskey.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Take the Points is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the
Your life.
Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome in. Mike Gross, Jackson Groff. We're out at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKellips. Come on out and see us. Taking up to 1 o'clock today, Jackson. And it's great to be out here. Look, I was getting ready for the show, and a couple numbers stuck in my brain. We're on to the Elite Eight in men's college basketball. Your Phoenix Suns have 9 regular season games left after the loss to Oklahoma City. And we are under 1 month. Under 30 days until the NFL draft. And I said to you, out of all those stories, if the NFL draft if they pushed out the date, that'd be all right with me because I love the stories. I love here's what I think's going to happen, and here's my mock draft, and here's the trade that I think. I just think the stories, Jackson, around this year's draft, maybe we're paying attention more. I don't know. But just wonderful stories and subplots and all kinds of coverage of the draft that's still a month away.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time when there was so much drama and so much question marks around a draft class. And I think the craziest thing about this, too, it's been quiet. We haven't really seen much trades. I guess the Vikings trade about a couple weeks ago when they acquired the Texans' first-round pick. Yeah. That kind of hinted that they're a team that's going to trade up. But now you see rumors from all the owners meeting in Florida and oh, yeah, the Raiders are interested about trading up. The Broncos are interested about trading up. And then you see the pro days this week. Drake May had a good pro day. J.J. McCarthy. Michael Penix Jr. runs a 4.53 out of nowhere. Right. Didn't think he could move like that. So does his draft stock move up? Who's going to be the second quarterback off the board? And then you see all this stuff, scrambling about Caleb Williams. And this whole month, too, it's going to be quiet, but you just wonder who's going to be the first move. And your Arizona Cardinals are in the driver's seat right now. Them and the Los Angeles Chargers, which the Chargers is interesting, and we'll talk about more of the draft on the show, because going into the draft after the season, I thought Brock Bowers was going to be the pick. They trade Keenan Allen, they trade Mike Williams. You go, okay, a wide receiver most likely, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze maybe, if the Cardinals get Marvin Harrison Jr. Now it's coming out saying that Jim Harbaugh is saying how much of an impact the offensive line has had, and they might go offensive lineman at 5, and they're a team that's maybe interested in trading down. So it's like for the Arizona Cardinals, you also got to think about what you want to do at 4, but also what are the Chargers going to do at 5 if you still want to trade down and get Marvin Harrison Jr.
And Monty Osifort, with that trade down, trade back up philosophy that he showed last year, is definitely in play. But that's what I'm saying. I just love it. Let's just keep this part of it going, because once the actual draft happens, obviously there'll be interest in it, but it'll be kind of anticlimactic.
Do you think a trade? Let's dive into your crystal ball, Mike Gross. Do you think a trade up before the draft a week before the draft or the day of? When do you think the chaos starts to ensue where teams start to move up and down?
I don't know, because it feels like there's a lot of pent-up demand for a trade this year. You just know it's going to happen, and you made a point that I think was right on. You're waiting, and if you're one of these general managers, you're waiting for somebody else to make that first move. I don't even want to say blink, but just make the first move. And I think once that happens, Jackson, then all hell's going to break loose, and you're going to see the draft order completely in upheaval. So to answer your question, I think that if you want to get it done, you may have to wait. You may have to do it early and not wait, right? Because you can't take a chance of not being able to get in on the action once it starts, and it starts fast and furious. Because if you're calling the Cardinals, you don't know who else is calling the Cardinals, right? So that I think it happens earlier. I don't think you'll see the announcement from the podium as much. You'll see some of that, but I think the big moves might happen a little bit earlier. Whether it's a week out or a day out, I don't know.
I think it's
leading up to the draft.
I think it's fitting too, out of all the years where there's 5, 6, maybe even 7 quarterbacks, probably 5, 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. But besides that, the Cardinals have possession of 2 first rounds. They could get 3 first-round picks, and it's one of the deepest wide receiver classes, one of the deepest offensive tackle classes. You've got a couple of edge rushers you could attack at, and I'm leaving out a position. Cornerback, wide receiver, tackle, I don't know. There's so many different positions at the Cardinals, and those are their top needs. They could get 2 or 3 guys in the first round with an early pick in the second. I think it fits perfect to what they want to do. Having a quarterback in this year's draft fits well for the Cardinals.
And what's the drop-off from Marvin Harrison Jr. to who's Neighbors, your second wide receiver off the board?
Yeah, I would say if the Cardinals did trade to 11, they got to trade back up and get Neighbors or Dunze. You just kind of need that solidified number 1 guy, the guy that's going to take over games, especially with Malik Neighbors running a 4.35. Now, I know he's not no Marvin Harrison Jr., but he's a talented guy.
Right.
I'd say you have to get one of those. But again, you're at the situation where you're at 11. Do you get an edge rusher at 11? Do you get a big offensive tackle and you slide down to 27 and get like a Brian Thomas Jr. or a Troy Franklin from Oregon? Like those are still good wide receivers, but it's like, do they have that upside to be the impact of a Marvin, Rome, and Malik? We don't know.
And that's why I love this year.
I love the NFL draft. We could talk about it for the entire show.
We talked about this coming onto the show, and you know, anybody who listens to this or knows me, I'm an unapologetic Michigan homer. I don't even care. I don't even try to hide it. You roll in here wearing your Michigan hat today, your 97
because I wanted to be on your good side today. That's why I wore this hat.
And
today.
It worked. It's a beautiful hat from way back in the day when they beat Ryan Leaf and the Washington State Cougars. I don't understand the ascension of J.J. McCarthy up everybody's draft list. J.J. McCarthy won a lot of games at Michigan, obviously. But when you look at your prototypical quarterback that translates to the NFL, I don't know that I'm seeing it, Jackson. I don't know that I'm seeing it. And like I said, I'm a Michigan guy. And so, you know, I never openly root for the Patriots when they were winning, but I was very happy that the Patriots were winning and Tom Brady was getting it. So I'm a Michigan guy, even after they leave. I don't see it. I don't understand why we're talking not a top 5 quarterback. We're talking about the fact that a lot of people suspect that J.J. McCarthy might be one of the top 5 players off this draft board.
Yeah, we're seeing that he could possibly be at 2 with the Commanders over Jaden Daniels. Look, I think J.J. McCarthy, coming from a pro system, and whether all this buzz is coming from, you know, scouts impressed with him at the interviews at the Combine or the film study drawing up plays on the board or even what we saw from his pro day, but I think he's a talented cat, but he could be one of those guys, like people say about Brock Purdy, oh, he's got all the weapons, he's got everything he needs there, it's the system, that's why he's so great. Could it be for J.J. McCarthy, where he's got to be in a great system, he's got to be in a pro system with weapons on the outside, and maybe a strong running game to flourish? I don't know. I think fit is going to be the biggest thing with all these quarterbacks, and I kind of hate, too, in the state of the NFL right now, where people are so impatient. If you're not good by your second year, you're gone. Look at the draft class with Brock Purdy. He's going in his 3rd year, and everyone that was drafted ahead of him is on a different team. Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell. I'm losing track. There was about 2 or 3 other names that were in that draft class that are on different teams. Desmond Ridder. So now we're in the state of the NFL where if you're not a good quarterback or you're not producing in your first 2 years, see you later, because we've got all these other players that we've got to pay mega millions, and we're trying to win right now. And you know why that's the method right now, why all this is happening is because everyone's trying to beat one man, and that's Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
If you're not good in your first 2 years, see you later. That's what I hate about the NFL, because I think all 5 of these quarterbacks are great, but they're going to be judged in their first 2 years based on where they end up if they perform well. So, but yeah, to your point, I don't know if it's buzz, but it's crazy though how Jim Harbaugh called it. He said he's going to be a top 3 pick about 2 months ago, and
he did, and that doesn't hurt. His head coach coming back to the NFL. And the ironic thing is, there was reports in the Detroit media that had and I don't know that this was ever going to happen, but if Jim Harbaugh would have stayed at Michigan, J.J. McCarthy wouldn't be in the draft right now, that he would have gone back to run it back with his head coach. But obviously we know what happened there, and that decision for J.J. McCarthy became a lot easier once his head coach left. And, he's been doing everything right. I mean, you look at from the time that Michigan won that national championship game on forward, his workouts, and to your point about his interviews, something's going right for this kid. I wonder, and I think you make a great point. I think you make a really good point, Jackson, that it's got to be a fit. You've got to find a spot where this guy can come in and do what he does best and learn and absorb the pressure, as you accurately said, that's going to come. Where any one of those teams, there's pressure to come. And you circled Minnesota as the place where you think J.J. McCarthy has the best chance to thrive, and we'll see how that goes. A lot of conversations about the Vikings and what they're going to do. And
this won't be the last time we talk about NFL draft, folks. We're going to talk about the odds right now. Who's projected to be the first quarterback? There's some over-under of pick numbers with quarterback prospects, and we're going to dive into all the NFL draft prospects and all the NFL combine NFL sportsbook bets and stuff, because there's a lot of bets out there. And it's funny too how sportsbooks come up with these bets, because it's like they find out what we find out, unless they have a source that's inside the NFL that's maybe asking these coaches, which I highly doubt it. That'd be highly illegal. That's one of the things for the NFL draft. If you're a sports book, you got to feel pretty uneasy because you don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, and you try to follow the money a little bit to protect the sports book, but it is a fascinating thing. Speaking of sports books, I talked to Marco yesterday, and he's going to join us next weekend and break down the Final Four. So Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com makes his basketball return 1 week from today with us on the show. All right, regular listeners to the program know what time it is. We go to our – and I'm happy to report it's the EPL pick of the week. I don't like MLS picks. I like MLS. Don't get me wrong.
Back to EPL, yes.
Ryan and you and I, we have a good mojo going when it comes to the EPL. And Ryan sends in his pick, our national champion, Ryan Sirk. He likes Manchester City to beat Arsenal tomorrow. Man City a little banged up, but Arsenal known for losing those important games, especially away from home. So the pick of the week is Manchester City over Arsenal. That's an 8:30 kickoff tomorrow from the EPL. Manchester City, checking the line here at the Sportsbook, Jackson, is minus 110 over Arsenal. So that's our pick of the week, and we'll get that in because we always follow our guy Ryan Sirk's lead when we make our picks. As Jackson said, we're going to spend some time looking at the NFL draft. We also, of course, will get into the Elite Eight. We've got 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. Jackson on fire, particularly on Thursday. He lit it up with some really, really good selections if you follow him on social media. And then we don't want to do it. You argued with me. You fought me on this, but we've got to talk about the Suns.
No.
Yeah, you fought me. Me. And we'll do, how about that? Rather than you whine about it right now, let's take a quick break. We'll regroup. And on the other side, we'll take a look at the Suns left in the regular season. We'll talk about it next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Monday on the drive. Will the Diamondbacks' domination keep up through the weekend? Can the Suns stay on track in the latest NFL draft rumors? 6:05 on the drive. Fox Sports 910 and your free iHeartRadio app.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're not just a sports bar. We're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, get ready to score fun and flavor. Only at BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day. Check us out online at bkdsbackyard.com. That's bkdsbackyard.com.
Life's a sprint. Meet G2G protein bars. Grab and go fuel for the office, links, and daily grind. Score an 8-pack at Costco or explore flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, power-packed G2G protein bars. Setting your pace.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at WrightToyota.com.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Postseason college hoops are here. Watch all the games at Twin Peaks. Enjoy incredible Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale draft specials from Four Peaks Brewing during all the games. Plus, sign up for free Win 910 on 910 bracket contest at fanpick'em.com. Win Twin Peaks fan cards at all rounds. Twin Peaks, your basketball headquarters.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.
If you're looking for the most the base of a massive waterfall, then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes in a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Take the point. Powered by the Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Welcome back in. Jackson Groff, Mike Gross. We're at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. And it's the calm before the storm out here, Jackson, as we've got some baseball on the big screens. I've seen some hockey on the big screens. But we're waiting. We're waiting for the Elite Eight to start later on this afternoon, and we'll get into that on the show in a little bit. But you and I spent the last 3 minutes or so of the break, me talking you off the ledge a little bit, saying, Jackson, you got to be professional. You got to do the radio show.
We're a local program.
You cannot ignore the Phoenix Suns. You can't do it no matter how much you want to. But, Jackson, here's the story. as we stand right now, the Phoenix Suns are the 7th seed in the Western Conference with 9 games left on their regular season schedule. They're 43-31. They're 8.5 out. They're a full game and a half behind the Dallas Mavericks for that last spot, the number 6 spot, which would avoid the play-in tournament. And Dallas Mavericks own the tiebreaker over the Phoenix Suns. So there's your math looking upwards, right? There's your math looking at the Suns and the Mavericks. The Mavericks are playing great basketball right now, too.
Them and the Rockets' 11-game winning streak. Right outside the play-in, but they might squeak in.
I was going to say the Rockets might mess around and find a way into the play-in, but we'll save that story for another day because we want to focus on the Suns. As we said, look, you lose 3 games ago. You lose in miserable fashion. Right, you lose a game you never should have lost at San Antonio, right? And when that happened, you turn around and you go to Denver, and you know everybody's ready to bury you, and you go to Denver and you beat the Nuggets in Denver again. I know they were without Jamal Murray, but still, you beat the Denver Nuggets in Denver. Second time you've done it, and then you turn around and you lose to Oklahoma City. So that's your last 3 games. Now you look ahead. This schedule that they've got, Jackson, everybody's in the playoffs.
Brutal.
On the schedule. Everybody left on the schedule will make the playoffs. And it starts on Monday night. You travel to New Orleans to face the Pelicans. That's where it starts. Jackson, just off the top of your head, as we sit here on March 30th, we're not in November anymore. Because when we talked about this in November, you said whatever you said, and you're like, don't worry about it. It's only November. And we got, all right, it's Christmas time, Jackson. You're like, don't worry. It's still Christmas. There's plenty of time to figure this out. Now here we are, March 30th, Jackson. Our next game is on April 1st. Where's your head at relative to this Phoenix Suns?
Oh, I mean, if it was 1 to 10, 10 super confident, 1 least confident, I'd say a 5. Because I still think this team at their best can go on and beat anyone in the Western Conference, but it's like, when are you going to get that every night? Are you going to need a Vogel screaming and a Vogel intensity meeting like they had to spark you up and give you that motivation? And I kind of agree with Charles Barkley calling out Kevin Durant a couple weeks ago, saying, you need to get your team in check. You need to be a leader. You need to show that Michael Jordan-esque hate, be pissed off, like what Kobe used to be like when they were down. You need to show that. The league is too nice, and I kind of agree with him to that, where you need Kevin Durant to be in there and say, look, guys, we got to get our you-know-what together for the playoffs, the play-in tournament, especially with how deep the Western Conference is. I mean, you're telling me right now in the play-in, yes, the play-in, they'll win a game, or they've got to win 2 games, or if they lose the first game, they've got another opportunity.
Yeah.
Kings, Lakers, Warriors, those are tough outs, even just 1 game. Playing 2-game do-or-die, you tell me if you're playing a do-or-die game against LeBron James and the Lakers, whether it's at home or away, I'm terrified. It's LeBron James and AD. So, again, I'm uneasy on the Suns. The game last night against the Thunder, especially of how great of a win it was against the Nuggets, is definitely a letdown, but you just hope they get in, man. You just hope they get into the tournament and don't have to be in the play-in.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head here. And love Chuck, and I think he's right on the one hand, but on the other hand, when have we ever seen Kevin Durant fill that role? Like, you expect a lot from Kevin Durant, but that role, that fiery leader, if that's what you want to call it, is that something that you expect from Kevin Durant? And where has he showed you that before? Like, and this is not a knock on him. Far be it. You look at his credentials and what he's done, and importantly, what he's capable of doing. When have you seen it from him? That's my question. He wanted out of New Jersey because the tough got going out there, right? So let's get out of New Jersey, right? And when he at Golden State, will never go down as Kevin Durant's team.
Yeah.
And again, this is not a knock on Kevin Durant. It's not in his DNA, I don't think, to do what Charles Barkley was asking him to do. And the problem is, and you look at this roster, I don't know who is that guy. Who is that guy on the Phoenix Suns roster? Because it can't in the NBA. I'm sorry, in the NBA, it cannot be the head coach.
No, it's a player-driven league.
What's Frank Vogel going to do to motivate Devin Booker? What's he going to do to motivate
It's a good point.
Kevin Durant? You put his arm around Bradley Beal's shoulder and say, come on in the office for a second here. Let's talk. It doesn't work that way in the NBA. Maybe back when Phil Jackson was the guy, but he was half crazy anyways based on everything you heard. So I don't know. It's just so frustrating. But it goes to something that Richard Jefferson said when he was on ESPN doing his show, and I'm going to get this kind of right. But he said, look down the history of the NBA when you put together your super teams. Where does it ever work the first year? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard the first year. So maybe that's it. Maybe this is just growing pains. I don't know. But it is immensely frustrating because of the expectations. And I think I'm not blaming the owner, but the owner kind of helped with that when he came in, and he spent money. He did everything that the old owner didn't do. This owner was going to do, right? So that to me, where we're at right now with this Suns team, is frustrating. And I completely agree with what you said before, Jackson. They could, 9 games left. They could go 7-2, and I wouldn't be shocked. They could go 4-5, and I wouldn't be shocked. That's the problem.
But how are they going to be in that playoff game or first playing game is the real question. What kind of team are we going to see from the Suns? And looking at the odds right now, Phoenix Suns odds to make the playoffs, -265. Odds to miss the playoffs, +210. The odds for them to make the play-in tournament, -800. So the sportsbooks think they're going to make the play-in over the playoffs.
Wow.
It's incredible.
And if you would have seen that number before the regular season started, then what?
Yeah, I think they had the second, third best odds to win the NBA.
They had better odds than the Nuggets
season.
at the start of the season.
Speaking of the Nuggets, they've lost 2, injured right now, but sitting there at the 3 spot, they would play the Mavericks round 1.
I think that'd be a fascinating matchup.
It would be a great matchup. And they would play the Thunder. The Thunder and the Timberwolves are interesting to me because they're both really young teams, but I like how they play, even though they really have that veteran playoff experience. But they're both just deep. And especially to see the Thunder, when the whole trade came down and they had a bunch of those draft picks, and they kind of had to rebuild after, James Harden left and Russell Westbrook left and Kevin Durant. And then to see the trade with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and what he's done with the Thunder. You want to talk about the 2 most even trades in sports? How about Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Tyrese Halliburton for Sabonis? Like those 2 have got to be the most equal trades in NBA that we've seen.
And going back to conversations that you and I and Bauer had in November, December, that if we could rewind and do over, Timberwolves, they're going to fade. They haven't been there. Oklahoma City, they don't have that moxie yet. They haven't earned it yet. Both of them, top of the Western Conference right now. I don't know what that means once you get to the postseason, but they're the number 1 and 2 seeds respectively. In fact, they're mathematically tied. I don't know who the tiebreaker goes to in that one, but fascinating to see the growth of these 2 teams. And, you hit the nail on the head. The one team, real quickly, out of those teams, 1 through 10, Jackson, as we get out of here in this segment, you look at the Western Conference, 1 through 10. One team, not named the Phoenix Suns. One team that you're not buying them no matter what. What happens?
Ooh, that I'm not buying?
You're not buying this team in the postseason.
Warriors. I just think they've got so much injury. They got so much drama with Draymond Green, CP3. They've got no big guy. I think just a lot of mixed pieces. And I think this is this season where you could see a lot of change with the Golden State Warriors. But besides the top 10, I'm going to give you another one inside the top 5. I'm going to say, actually, I can't say one because I think all 5 of those teams are pretty good. So
I'm not buying the Clippers. I'm not buying the Clippers.
Really?
I just think everything, the behind the scenes stuff with the Clippers. This team, they played well early.
They're healthy right now.
They're healthy right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10. For me, it's the Clippers. And I'm fascinated by this Mavericks team. Fascinated. I just see what they do in the postseason, right? They should be better than they have been, but now maybe they've turned the corner. I don't know. All right, we've got, like I said, 9-10 games depending on who you follow. Phoenix Suns, 9 games left in the regular season. That begins on Monday night. They are in New Orleans to play the 5th-seeded New Orleans Pelicans. Again, you look at the standings. They are a full game and a half back from the Dallas Mavericks in the 6th spot. You look over your shoulder behind you, You're clear of the Sacramento Kings in the 8th spot by a half a game, Jackson. Half a game. You're closer to 9 than you are to 6 right now if you're the Phoenix Suns. We'll step aside here, come back. We'll take our first look, Jackson, at the NCAA tournament, the Elite Eight. That's coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
The Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of game day.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
At Van's Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new Ping G730 and I-530 irons. The G730 irons are Ping's longest and most forgiving irons, while the I-530s fit golfers who want more distance in a player's design and are engineered for higher launch and more. Visit us in store at Van's Golf Shops or online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. From tequila cocktails to an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls in the 29-degree drafts. Stop by any 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations today.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deep in the valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Join Fox Sports 910's Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B for their Hoops Finals weekend in the new showroom at Talking Stick Resort. Win cash with free props and squares contests, plus 3 big screen TV giveaways. That's the Hoops Finals weekend at Talking Stick Resort, April 6th and 8th.
It's finally here, spring training baseball. And that means peanuts, popcorn, and sunflower seeds. And a stop at Venezia's Pizzeria after the game for some of our fan favorites, like pizza, wings, and calzones. Venezia's uses family recipes to make the famous Venezia's pizza dough and sauces from scratch, giving you that authentic Italian taste. 6 Valley locations. Order now at Venezia's.com or on the Venezia's app right from your seat and pick it up on the way home. Always a home run with Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as
pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Fine. It's a pickup or drop off. We'll pay you that amount on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as
can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Freeform Radio, a unique blend of Americana, classic alternative, and roots rock.
You belong in my sweetheart. It's all sweet.
Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Freeform Radio, and listen now, commercial-free. Free never sounded so good.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Well, Jackson, I was looking at our Final Four picks, you, Bauer, myself, and we're all kind of in the same boat here, aren't we? We've got
busted is the correct term there, Gross.
Bauer's Final Four, he's got one possibility left. He's got Illinois alive still, North Carolina, Marquette, and he's got two. Apologies, Purdue, and he's got Purdue playing in the championship game. So Bauer, out of the three of us, is doing the best with his pick. Myself, I had UConn, North Carolina, Houston, and Creighton. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. And I have Houston win it all. I've got UConn advancing to the national championship game, so I can still pick up a few points there. Jackson, you in your Final Four, you've got UConn, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Creighton.
Oof.
And you've got North Carolina winning it all. So that's where we stand from picks we made before the tournament started.
Yeah, I mean, what a great tournament it's been so far. The final 8 teams, this is why March Madness is the greatest. I mean, you got a 3 seed versus a 1, a 6 versus a 4, 11 versus a 4, and a 2 versus a 1. But I think one of the funniest things about all this, how about Clemson and Alabama playing today in Los Angeles, California, in the West region? You got 2 teams in the South. First off, a great rivalry in college football. If Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban are not at this game, I'll be disappointed. I think the NCAA should fly them out in a private jet, get them at half court right before the game. But in all fairness, when you look at these 2 matchups, let's start out with Illinois, UConn. UConn minus 8.5. The last time that they had a close game was against St. John's in the Big East tournament, which was a 5-point game, 95-90. Besides that, the loss they had at Creighton in February. But besides that, this team has, I think, the narrowest margin in the tournament is like 17 that they've had in their last 8 games.
Yeah.
Is this UConn team unstoppable? They'll be playing the Big Ten champ in Illinois, who's got Terrence Shannon Jr. What are your thoughts when you look at this game first?
Well, first up, my thoughts are that I completely whiffed on this Illinois team. And a couple weeks ago, we had Jerry Palm on the show. I think it's when you were at Duke visiting Cameron Indoor Arena. Bauer and I talked to Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. He's their bracketologist. And my question was something to the effect of, beyond the Purdue Boilermakers, I look at this Big Ten and I see just a bunch of middling type teams. Like, nobody impresses me that much. And Jerry said, well, I see why you say that. You know, and you look at teams like, Northwestern and Wisconsin and Nebraska, things like that. I get it. But he said, don't sleep on Illinois. And I'm paraphrasing, but essentially that was his point. And that's why he's the professional and I'm not, because Illinois now in the Elite 8 as a number 3 seed. But they've got a staunch test coming up against this UConn team. Game tips off at 3:09 our time. And UConn, to your point, Jackson, 8.5-point favorite. And point total on that one is 154.5. I don't think it matters, but, conventional wisdom would say, well, geez, UConn's, they haven't been tested. They haven't been pushed. Maybe that happens. But this team is too good for that.
Yeah, and I think Illinois is a good team, and they've been playing really well in the tournament. I mean, they've been one of the hottest teams besides NC State. Win the Big Ten. They've kind of had a gauntlet. They've had to play tougher teams than UConn, because you look back on UConn's track, and yes, they've dominated, and yes, they've played well in the tournament. Right. But 16-seeded Stetson, 9-seeded Northwestern, and we knew 5 San Diego State didn't have enough scorers to keep up with UConn. So you wonder, defense wins championships in football, but in college basketball, especially in March Madness, offense is superior to defense. You saw that against Iowa State. My biggest thing with Illinois, if they can make their free throws, 9 of 29 against Iowa State, that's not going to cut it against UConn. Yeah. They can get to the free throw line and kind of put UConn in a predicament, get some guys in foul trouble underneath, and then consistently make their shots and maybe even put some pressure on UConn. I mean, I might be wrong saying this, but I kind of favor 8.5 in Illinois if Terrence Shannon Jr. can get out early. The Illinois is a good team.
You look at the point you made about the UConn competition so far in the tournament versus Illinois. First round, of course, Illinois is a 3 seed. They got number 14 Morehead State, easily took care of them. Then they got Duquesne, who was the one of the darlings with the first round upset. We made some money off of them, by the way. And they dispatched Duquesne, ended that Cinderella run. And then, to your point, came back and beat number 2 seeded Iowa State 72-69. So there's that test, right? There's that test that UConn is missing. And a side note, I love ESPN sometimes. It's easy to get upset with ESPN these days, but last time that Illinois played in the Elite 8, Jackson, this is probably way before your time, youngster that you are. since 2005. It's the first time that they've played there. And what was trending back then, besides the Fighting Illini, Soulja Boy and Mariah Carey. Just
Soulja Boy.
When you can drop that kind of knowledge
on an ESPN article,
ESPN
that's
story,
pretty cool.
Breaking down the game. Like I said, sometimes ESPN doesn't disappoint. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. This is a good test for UConn, their first real test of the postseason.
And I think it's funny too when people talk about the March Madness and how everyone wants upsets in the first round. And in the second round, we saw some Cinderellas, but not really in the Sweet 16. And everyone on ESPN, speaking of ESPN, is saying, well, there's not enough Cinderellas. It's pretty chalk. Like, oh, there's Cinderellas, blah, blah, blah. And then you see some upsets in the Sweet 16. And now you look at it and you say, okay, there's a 1-seed UConn and a 1-seed Purdue, 2-seed Tennessee, fight, like some relevant names. And there's also some non-relevant names. And then you get people saying, well, at the Final Four, if we have a Final Four with Clemson, Illinois, NC State, and Tennessee, I'm going to be upset. Why? I mean that's what makes March Madness so fun, is seeing these Cinderella teams and seeing these teams go on and continue to move on. I know the ratings weren't great last year with teams like, UConn obviously dominated but Miami was in there, FAU and San Diego State gross. But you and me being college basketball fanatics, I think that's great for the sport, and it shows you the magnitude of transfer portal, even the playing field.
Well, and you look at this this weekend's matchups, the Saturday Sunday matchups, the last 8 teams. You've got a great mix of UConn's number 1 defending national champion, but then you've got a 4-6 after that with Alabama Clemson. Like, nobody had Alabama Clemson playing in this game. I'm sorry. Nobody did. Right?
And now after watching them in the tournament, you look at their seeds, completely different. Clemson and Alabama are really good teams, obviously making the Elite 8. Oh, Jackson, of course, they're really good teams. But if you watch them, you actually watch these teams. These 8 teams are really solid teams.
The other side of it on Sunday, you get your 1-2, right? You've got Purdue and Tennessee, but then you've got a 4-11. Now, the problem with the 4-11 is Duke is a 4 seed. So everybody's going, oh, Duke's back again. But this is a Duke 4 seed. This isn't Mike Krzyzewski as a 1 seed.
Yeah, a Duke team that got knocked out in the first round of the ACC tournament, snapped things around. They lost to UNC the week before that, but interesting game last night. People on Twitter saying, if Houston would have had Jamal Shed, they would have won this game. I think Duke offensively didn't shoot the ball well, but regardless, Jamal Shed's a great player. Veteran leadership, does a lot on and off the court. But I just didn't see a world where his impact was that big where Houston was going to win the game. I just think offensively with him on the court, he couldn't get going. I think he had 2 points last night in his 13 minutes, but that definitely set the mood down for Houston. But for a Duke team where things weren't going their way, they were sound on defense. It was a good win, and now you got NC State, 11 NC State. That's the hottest team in the tournament. They played Marquette. They ran them out the water yesterday.
Oh,
gross.
My God.
Waterboarding? Waterboarding is? NC State waterboarded Marquette and never looked back. Tyler Kolek ripping his jersey after the game in frustration. Cam Jones and Shaka Smart, another team that he thought he had his team to make a Final Four run, falls short once again.
Interesting, because here's 2 teams that know each other so well. They're
third time playing.
They're literally that far away from each other. 15-minute drive from one campus to the next, I think. They're in the triangle in North Carolina. And they know each other well, right? And so here you go.
Sorry to interrupt you. What do you see when you watch NC State? I'm really curious. You being a college basketball guy, you've been in the business for a long time. Like, what makes this NC State team so special? And why are things clicking? Because, we have never seen a team. I guess the last time we saw a team like this, correct me if I'm wrong, 2021 Oregon State, where Oregon State had to win the Pac-12 in order to make the NCAA tournament. They didn't have to play as many games to win the Pac-12 as NC State did for the ACC, but they made an Elite 8 run similar to what NC State's doing.
Jackson, here's a team that was the 11th place at the end of the ACC regular season, right? And what I see, to answer your question, when I look at NC State as a team, 9-11, I'll remind 9-11 in the tournament. A lot of people were saying, how did this team make it in instead of fill in the blank team that was left out? But they're in. And all of a sudden they figured it out. You can see the light switch. And so the question is, boy, where was this during the regular season, right? That's the question about North Carolina State. But, man, this is a team that they figured it out. And every game you see that confidence level just skyrocket. And that's the difference. I mean, you look at this Burns kid. He's not a kid. He's a man.
6'9", 275.
He's a man. But you look at him, and I think he kind of embodies what this team is. Like, every time something happens on the court, like, you just see that confidence skyrocket. And, look, they lost twice already to Duke this year. I'm going to say, I don't know if Duke win. We'll do our picks later on. I don't know if it matters. I honestly don't know if it matters. Here's a team that beat Texas Tech, higher seed, 6-11, right? And they beat Texas Tech convincingly. And then that Oakland game, we talked about it, a little bit interesting. Everybody's Cinderella, everybody's darling. Oakland hung around, but North Carolina State had just enough to put them away. And then what you said about Marquette, I mean, they beat the drums off this team. Marquette got it was almost like the Arizona-Clemson game. Marquette got close enough a couple of times. You're like, okay, here it comes. Like at 10 minutes, you're like, okay, here it comes. 8 minutes, here it comes. And North Carolina State never took their foot off their throat. And so I think, like I said, here's a team that finally figured it out. And I think it's going to be fascinating to watch them play Duke tomorrow. Like I said, I don't know who I'm going to pick. We do our picks at the end of the show. Smart money would say, well, geez, you got to take Duke, right? Yeah, maybe. But, you just
6.5 is a lot of points, especially for a team like NC State. They've been undefeated against the spread the entire tournament. They were 8.5, 7.5 point underdog against Marquette yesterday.
Yep.
That's where I think when I've looked and I've dived deep into the NCAA tournament and what side to lean on for spreads, I think money wise, you're more comfortable with an underdog team. A team like NC State, if they're an 8.5 point underdog or 6.5 point underdog, if they get out to a 15, 10 point lead early, that's a 18.5, 19.5 point swing for you to lose your bet, if that makes sense.
No, 100% it does. 100%. And you look at that 6.5 number, that's right at the cusp of where that starts to kick in. Illinois at 8.5 is.
Because the only team I see right now that could cover a spread that big would be UConn, but they're playing a better team in Illinois. But we'll continue to talk about. It's funny, we talked about one Saturday game and one Sunday game. So does that mean we got to talk about the other Saturday game in our next segment and the next Sunday game there, Gross, or what?
It's our show, Jackson. We can do whatever we want. We'll step aside and we'll do just that we want on the other side on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
I'm excited.
With Colin Cowherd.
JJ McCarthy, he says, game manager, exceptional management skills. Kirk Cousins is old, expensive, and not mobile. And he just got $45 million in Atlanta. JJ McCarthy is young, cheap, and mobile. So Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings coach, who I think is going to go try to get McCarthy, he liked it.
This is The Herd. Monday at 10. Tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at righttoyota.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
If you haven't tried G2G protein bars, today is the day. Find them in your local Costco's refrigerated section or online at G2GBar.com. Incredible taste and packed with protein. They are perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Check them out today.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Postseason college hoops are here. Watch all the games at Twin Peaks. Enjoy incredible Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale draft specials from Four Peaks Brewing during all the games. Plus, sign up for free Win 910 on 910 bracket contest at fanpick'em.com. Win Twin Peaks fan cards at all rounds. Twin Peaks basketball headquarters.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing
I didn't really follow
River
the story. I
Rewards
just saw like the
program at
headlines.
Casino,
That's
Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at Salt River.
Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team, Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
It doesn't get much better than having a job.
My illegal gambling ring that I run on the side with Shoei Otani.
Become a child care provider and care for up to 4 children in your home at childcare.accrr.com. Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Economic Security.
Tax talk. Are you good?
Give.
I'm not an interesting follow anyway.
Tax season you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a
I just tweet about coyotes.
and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15
Sometimes
for just
politics.
$99. So you can give your janky
You don't
phone
learn
your
anything from following.
good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. It's at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook and CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Rolling along on a Saturday morning here at Casino, Arizona. Jackson Croft, Mike Gross. Got baseball on. The Tigers and the White Sox tied at 3. Over on the other side, I can't see the score. We got the Mets game on. A little bit of a kerfuffle behind the net between the Panthers and the Red Wings from Florida. They're tied up at 1. Got some soccer going on, Jackson. All kinds of good stuff here at Casino, Arizona. As we get ready for college basketball, games get underway here in a couple hours. This place is going to be packed. It's starting to fill up a little bit, but they will be packed. But here to take care of you, of course, great food and drink specials, as always, at the Casino, Arizona. All right, we talked about 2 games, as you said before the break. So let's talk about 2 other games. We talked about Illinois and UConn, our early game today. That one gets underway at 3:09. And then at 5:49 p.m. From Los Angeles, of all places, you've got number 6 Clemson and number 4 Alabama. And Jackson, I think what you said about Marquette losing yesterday, you could say the same thing the way Clemson beat Arizona. It was exactly the same kind of game where Clemson jumped out early and never, ever back in the game. And again, if you're watching it, you come down the stretch in the second half and you say, hey, maybe this is where Arizona gets over the hump. You know, I think they've got as close as 3 in that game, but never could seal the deal, come all the way back, and Clemson eliminated, number 6 Clemson eliminated the Wildcats. And I understand it from a particularly from a fan standpoint, but also from a seeding standpoint. You know, 6 beats a 2, that's an upset. That's a good Clemson basketball team who was playing well and didn't let up against Arizona.
Yeah, another one of those teams from the ACC that a lot of people puzzled why they made the tournament. They got blown out against Boston College in the ACC tournament. You start to look as further on, maybe you put more respect on what the ACC's been doing, having 3 teams in the Elite Eight. But for Clemson, they play at a slow pace, and it's always been talked about pace and stuff like that. But I think something that they did really well against Arizona is they controlled the game based on their pace. It did not change, did not fluster their game. You saw later down the stretch with Arizona, they kind of went frantic. They're not a 3-point shooting team. How many times on this show have I said this Arizona team? We've said this Arizona team is not a 3-point shooting team, and Clemson gave up those threes, said, hey, all day, if you want to shoot those 3-pointers, you're more than welcome to. They controlled the pace of the game, and something that's going to be interesting about these two teams. Alabama controlled the game against UNC with their fast pace. Clemson likes to control it with their slow pace. It's tough to get runs on Clemson. I saw an analyst talk about this the other day because when you get on a little run, you score. Let's say you get a 3-pointer, you got to go back on defense. You got to be on defense for about 30 seconds because this Clemson team doesn't take the first available shot.
Nope. They'll
pass the ball around, set off-ball screens, and try to get the best look possible, or even try to get to the free throw line. And by the time you get to the free throw line, the momentum's kind of dying down. The crowd's dying down on the opponent's side, and you don't really see more runs against Clemson. However, for Alabama, they strive on runs. They strive in transition. They strive off scoring, and they've got a lot of guys that can shoot threes. This is probably one of the best 3-point shooting runs I think I've seen from Alabama. Mark Sears, Chase Hunter is going to be a great matchup, but a matchup that I think you're a big man fanatic. You got P.J. Hall from Clemson, 6'10", versus Grant Nelson, North Dakota State transfer, facing off down on the post.
Love those guys that come from lower level schools and end up at a team and now doing it at the big dance, right? Real quickly, going back to this Clemson team and what they did to Arizona. Part of it was Arizona, but you have to credit the Clemson defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at a guy that you talked a lot about.
1 minute.
Caleb Love, 0 for 9 from deep, from behind the arc, right? And you go down the whole roster. Cam Boswell, 1 for 5. As a team, they were 5 for 28. That was in part because of cold shooting, but it was in a large measure to Clemson never letting Arizona get on track. And that disruptive type of defense, I think, is what Clemson brings to the table. But the challenge here is that's what Alabama does,
30.
too. So we'll see. Great games coming up. We're just scratching the surface. Hour number 1 in the books already. He's Jackson Groff, the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino Arizona. We'll step aside here. More to come on the other side.
Clear.
Take the Points has been sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing.
Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. There's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new Ping G730 and I530 irons. The G730 irons are Ping's longest and most forgiving irons, while the I530s fit golfers who want more distance in a player's design and are engineered for higher launch and more. Visit us in store at Vans Golf Shops or online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Make plans to join Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B for their Hoops Finals weekend at the new showroom at Talking Stick Resort. Win cash with free props and squares contests during all 3 games. Plus a big screen smart TV will be given away during each game. 3 big ones. That's cash and prizes just for watching the games in the new showroom and sportsbook in Talking Stick Resort. And best of all, it's free. It's the Hoops Finals weekend at Talking Stick Resort. Details at rockinmanooch.com.
The New York Yankees visit Chase Field for the first time since 2019. The D-backs take on Juan Soto and Aaron Judge for a 3-game series starting April 1st. Secure your tickets now at dbacks.com.
Life's a constant swirl of shopping. Groceries, clothes, gifts, the occasional self-care splurge. You know how it is. That's why you should get the Drop app. With Drop, you earn points for shopping and turn those points into gift cards. Last year, I scored $150 in gift cards alone. Make sure to use code DROP23 when you sign up and get $5 in Drop points. That's DROP23. Get rewarded for shopping and download Drop now for free on the App Store or Google Play.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsports910.com/rules.
I spray
and scrub. But the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind. The new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd, Monday from 10 to 1. Fox Sports 910, KGME Phoenix, KESC HD3 Phoenix.
Women's Sweet 16 underway, and right now we got a tight one in Albany as the UCLA Bruins have a 1-point lead over the LSU Tigers. 4 minutes, 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter. That lead just extends to 2 as Lauren Betts hits a free throw. Possession before, she had a big block on Williams for LSU. Right now, Angel Reese and Nisha Morrow, Michaela Williams all in double figures. Bludjay Johnson leading the scoring at 17 apiece. UCLA, Lauren Betts, like I just said, London Jones and Kiki Rice all in double figures as well. Gabriela Jaquez with 12 points coming off the bench. Iowa and Colorado, next game up, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Later on in men's college basketball, we have Illinois and UConn, Clemson and Alabama. We have the Brewers and the Mets right now in Major League Baseball. Brewers with a 6-2 lead over the New York team, and the White Sox and Tigers tied at 3 apiece. I'm Martin Weiss.
This is the Parker.
Are you covering the Final Four for the Rocky
AC, plumbing, and electric needs? Call Parker.
A sunny start to the weekend. We'll top out today at 82 degrees, windy, but some sun. Tonight, though, the rain sets in after midnight, the low 55, and an Easter soaker ahead. Your Sunday, a 70% chance for showers, windy, the high 65. With the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Corey McCloskey.
This report is sponsored by Try the new limited edition Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's. Try the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty at Wendy's.
I live right across the street from
memory lane. To have
stadium,
Orange
I could walk
Dreamsicle
there if I
Frosty in
wanted
our timeline is truly something special, and we shouldn't let the moment pass us by. And be quick, it's only available for a limited time.
Take the Points is sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing. Time for Arizona's only local sports.
They're getting it in a couple
radio
years, but they're playing a football center.
Powered by the Sportsbook at CSC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice.
Your life.
Guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart.
Hour number 2. We're out here at the CAZ Sportsbook Casino, Arizona, Loop 101 McKellips. Coming out and see us. I already had breakfast. Jackson was a little too late for breakfast.
I was.
But
I don't deserve breakfast, Gross. I was late.
As always, good as usual. And lots of folks out here watching games, getting ready for the Elite Eight at the Sportsbook here. They've got the full-service window that we're staring at, fully staffed and ready to go to take care of you. And then they've got the self-service kiosk to the right of the bar. Excuse me, to the left of the bar against the back wall there. And then 2 right outside the door here at Casino Arizona. So they got you covered any way you like to engage with your sports book right here at Casino Arizona.
So, Mike Gross, I'm looking at the odds right now, and I don't know if it's where sports books are just bored or they want to get people's money, but particular sports book I'm looking at, FanDuel, has the odds, the spreads for every hypothetical matchup for the national championship game.
Wow.
Already. Pick a matchup. What matchup right now on the top of your head that you want to see the national championship? And I'll show you the current odds for it.
I don't have it in front. Like I don't have the bracket. Can Purdue and UConn?
Okay.
Can Purdue and UConn play?
Yeah, they can't play at the end. Purdue and UConn, they have a 4.5-point favorite. UConn in that one.
That one would
4.5 seems like a lot.
And going back to what you said earlier about people can't decide what they want. They want all favorites or they want upstarts or underdogs or whatever. Those are your 2 number 1 seeds left. And it'd be an interesting one because it's so hard to repeat in sports. So hard. And so credit to Coach Hurley and this UConn team for not really blinking, right? You know, they just picked up where they left off a year ago. And then Purdue. You know, if there's any team that came into this tournament with just a tremendous amount of pressure on them, it was the Boilermakers. The way they went out a year ago, and they pretty much ran it back, right?
Yeah, back-to-back years. I was about to say St. Peter's and then with Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah. And I mean, the Fairleigh Dickinson one, that makes you forget the St. Peter's one, right? But nonetheless, the pressure that was on the Boilermakers, running it all the way back, Zach Edey back. So I'd love to see that one. I would absolutely love to see that. Which one jumps off the page at you?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at just all the ones with UConn because UConn's the number 1 overall seed, and you kind of wonder how they would match up in the sports books if the hypothetical matchup goes to play. So like we just mentioned, UConn-Purdue, UConn 4.5-point favorite. UConn-NC State, UConn 13.5-point favorite. Very disrespectful there for NC State. UConn-Duke, UConn's a 9.5-point favorites. And then lastly, UConn versus Tennessee. I just lost it. UConn, Tennessee, 6.5-point favorite. So the smallest margin would be Purdue at 4.5 there.
Yeah.
The closest game they have right now is 1.5-point favorite. Illinois they have as a 1.5-point favorite over Duke if that was the national championship.
Wow. No,
that's
that's
interesting.
That's very interesting. And I want to zero in on this Purdue team a little bit. Like you said during the last segment, we didn't focus on all the games. And like I said a moment ago, the pressure on Purdue team, and a lot of people have opinions about them. Not a lot of love for Purdue if you're not a Boilermaker fan. But they shook it off and ran it almost all the way back. Won the Big Ten regular season, lost to that Illinois team in the championship game of the Big Ten championship, and now here they are against an interesting team in Tennessee at 3.5-point favorites for the Boilermakers. And Tennessee, to me, super talented, but and we talked about this, so this is not an original thought from yours truly. They've got a little bit of that Arizona Wildcat in them where you never know. Like they fade in and fade out, and they did that against Texas last weekend and then came all the way back. But, this is an interesting Tennessee team. If they're right and they're focused, they are talented enough to beat Purdue. But I think that's a big if.
Yeah, and I think Tennessee defensively pairs up well against Purdue. I think they've got bigger guys down low than what we saw from Gonzaga. You wonder what would Gonzaga be if they did have that big guy, maybe that true Timmy down low, because they had good guard play. I thought Graham Ecke played well for Gonzaga. You look at this Tennessee team, like you mentioned last night, Ziegler was a guy that stepped up 18 points. They shot 45% from three, 83% from free throws. And that's the biggest key, I think, for Tennessee is if they can somehow stay out of foul trouble underneath with Adebayo and their big guys. Because that was the biggest trouble for Gonzaga was they had 3 guys and that were contributors all with 3 or 4 fouls late down the stretch. I think you've got to do that. And I think with Zach Edey, and we've been seeing with these referees, people are saying, the refs are favoring towards Zach Edey. I think it's just kind of tough for refs to foul or, I guess, what would you say, evaluate or assess the game because Zach Edey's game is so different. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because he's 7'4", he draws so many fouls. He's a great free throw shooter. He's consistent, but it's just tough. Like how do you think the refs should assess Zach Edey?
You're exactly right. He, the smart aleck in me would say he got complete favoritism from the Big Ten refs down the stretch. But you're right. He's 7'4". How do you look at this guy and evaluate him? With mere mortals.
Like you can't call over the back fouls because he's 8 inches taller than everyone around him.
If he would have gone into the NBA draft, and that was a big you recall a year ago when he decided to come back to Purdue, like he would have been the number 2 pick, and most years he would have been the number 1 pick were it not for Wemby going to San Antonio. So, you look at this kid, and how do you evaluate him? Because he's a freak of nature physically. You look at him, and they showed. One of the pregame things, like his development, they showed him at IMG Academy. He's not your typical 7'4" guy. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can move. He's not 7'4" and 128 pounds, right? He's physically gifted. So I think it's hard, because he's doing things that other people don't do. And so the natural inclination is to look at the referees on that.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest difference, too, with Purdue, and they did a little story on Purdue during the Gonzaga game on how they were 228th in three-point shooting last year, and I think they had, I forget who came in, they had a really legendary coach come in and say, what's the issue? What can we improve on? And he just said, make more threes. So every single day from the beginning of the season, the offseason until now, Purdue has a whole 30-minute session where they just shoot three-pointers. That's been the biggest difference is their guard play, 45% for three-pointers. Guys like Smith and Lawyer that were freshmen last year, now they're sophomores, and you're starting to see that veteranness, the experience come to fruition for this Purdue team. I'm buying them now. It took me a while. It's like the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they get all this hype. You think they're going to change. Takes a couple games for them to win. But Purdue, Tennessee, 3.5. It's going to be a great game.
Well, it's not like the Dallas Cowboys at all because Purdue actually
they're winning more than the Dallas
Cowboys.
Season. You're right.
I get the point. But, I think that's exactly, why you look at Purdue and say this year is different, feels different because of that guard play, right? Because Edey last year, he was what he was. Like I said, he was going to be the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. He'll be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft this year. So, he hasn't improved his game from last year to this year. He's his same dominant self. But to have players around him, particularly guards in the NCAA tournament, around him playing better is why they're advancing this year and not stumbling the way they did in the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah, and that's why Fairleigh Dickinson beat them is because they were saying, hey, their guard play, not good, inconsistent. They can't shoot threes from the outside. So we're going to put more pressure in the zone defense to stop Edey because we know guys like Lawyer and Smith with a wide open 3 aren't going to consistently make them. Now you've got in year 2, things changed. And Purdue, they face a Tennessee team. I mean, for those saying, and I get some of the pundits that say there's not a lot of stars in the NCAA tournament. There's not a lot of stars in college basketball. But the more you watch, there's some really good athletes, really good players that might be the Jalen Brunsons of the world in the NBA or the Tyrese Maxeys, kind of that second-tier players that aren't attractive at first, but they could excel their game to be an all-star. Like a guy like Dalton Knecht versus Zach Edey, great matchup. Mark Sears from Alabama. You've got guys on Duke. DJ Burns, if NBA doesn't work out, you can be a right offensive tackle in the NFL. But you continue to move on. Even guys from UConn that aren't sexy picks, like Klingon and Spencer and Newton, are going to be first round. You know what I'm trying to say, though? It's like there's the overall hype, and maybe because social media is not too interested in men's college basketball and they're more familiar with Caitlin Clark, that's kind of taken the attention of it. But there's some good athletes and some great players for those who watch college basketball.
Well, and I love the narrative, though, right? You can't have it both ways. There's no superstars in men's college basketball right now. Okay, fine. But the other side of the narrative is just what we were talking about with a couple of these teams where you put together senior-laden teams with great guard play. Like, which is it? Like, you can't say that, well, you're missing that superstar, so I don't want to watch. But then on the other hand, you look at it and say, well, the reason that Purdue is playing the way they are this year is because they've got arguably a superstar, but their guard play has stepped up. And, these other teams are bringing veteran teams to the table, right? We talked about that with some of our picks that we made before the tournament, why we were looking at certain teams. You're like, well, I like this team because they've got 2 seniors in the backcourt, right? They've been together for 3 years. They understand coach's system or whatever the case may be and understand how important guard play is when you get into March Madness. So I think this narrative thing, it cuts both ways, right? You can't on the one hand hate it and then on the other hand love it for the essentially the same reason.
And then people say too, they're like, oh, well, college basketball is so hard to follow because people come and go and they leave and stuff like that. Well, the people that were coming and going were those stars. And now you're saying, okay, well, I want people to stay in college longer.
Right.
Boom, transfer portal comes in, NIL comes in. People stay 3 to 4 years longer, 4 to 5 years longer, easier to track of. But they get to the NBA standpoint and they're like, oh, I don't want to draft them because they're an older player. So it's like you get like which side do you want? To your point, do you want people coming in and out every single year and getting the hype, being those freshmen that go to the NBA, or do you want to be able to track guys in college longer, have them make some money, have them get some success in college, and then the NBA comes around and they're 22, 23?
I hate the transfer portal because these players just move around willy-nilly and you can't keep track. Oh, by the way, I'm super happy Dusty May's moving from Florida Atlantic to Michigan before the season ended, right? Well, we shouldn't have the transfer portal open during the season.
How about it opening up during the NCAA tournament? I get the school calendar and stuff like that, but there's got to be something where they can be, hey, schools, is there any way we could start?
No, that's my point, though. That's my point. Then that's fine. Close it until whatever I forget the day of the championship game is, the Tuesday after the championship game. But then also you can't hire coaches during that period either. Michigan can't hire Dusty May until after the tournament's over.
Yeah.
if it's good for the coaches, it's good for the players.
And it's a disadvantage, too, for the guys in the tournament, maybe some secondary guys that aren't getting a lot of playing time.
Right.
And the Illinois, the UConns of the world that are on the bench, they can't go in the transfer portal because they want to stick out with their run. Maybe by the time the tournament's done, they're going to have a shorter window versus the guys that got eliminated earlier. So it's a sticky situation for both college basketball and college football.
I'm okay fixing it, but whatever you do for the players, do for the coaches.
I agree.
Because coaches move. Coaches go, it's all about money. Players are moving for money. Oh, Dusty May didn't get a raise to go to Michigan?
Got a little bit of a raise.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll step aside here. Jackson, let's go back to the NFL. We're going to talk some NFL drafts, some movement, some odds around what's happening. We're a month away, but the storylines are fabulous. NFL draft coming up next.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Coming up Monday at 1 on Rock and Manutra, Jimmy B live from the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. And then there were 4. We'll recap the madness of the weekend as the Final Four headed to State Farm Stadium. We'll break it down. That's Monday at 1 on Rock and Manutra with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the scenic views stick around after the sun sets, and your favorite cocktails keep you company long after overtime. Where else can you unwind with bourbon and late-night bites? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Over the years, Lerner Rose helped over 150,000 injured people recover billions of dollars for their injuries, and over $1 billion in the last 5 years alone. What does that mean to you when you're looking for an attorney to handle your personal injury case? That means that Lerner Rowe is a law firm that not only has experience, but the proven results to recover money for your injuries. The insurance companies know which attorneys won't put up a fight. When you call us, we call them, and they know they have to pay.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Join Fox Sports 910's Rock and Manu for their Hoops Finals weekend in the new showroom at Talking Stick Resort. Win cash with free props and squares contests, plus 3 big screen TV giveaways. That's the Hoops Finals weekend at Talking Stick Resort, April 6th and 8th.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
It's finally here, spring training baseball. And that means peanuts, popcorn, and sunflower seeds. And a stop at Venezia's Pizzeria after the game for some of our fan favorites, like pizza, wings, and calzones. Venezia's uses family recipes to make the famous Venezia's pizza dough and sauces from scratch, giving you that authentic Italian taste. 6 Valley locations. Order now at Venezias.com or on the Venezia's app right from your seat and pick it up on the way home. Always a home run with Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, #SexyRoofStatus. All of our work using state-of-the-art materials and 5-star workmanship. Our inspections are free. You heard me? Free. Go to state48roofing.com to schedule your free appointment today.
Commit to one day and help keep ozone away. Idling causes air pollution. Please turn off your vehicle when waiting in long lines like school pickups and drive-thrus. You'll save on gas and breathe cleaner air. For more information, visit maricopa.gov/AQ.
With Progressive Insurance, we make it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you will earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit progressive.com.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Freeform Radio, a unique blend of Americana, classic alternative, and roots rock.
You belong in my sweetheart. To the sound of sweet.
Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Freeform Radio.
Stand by.
Commercial free. Free never sounded so good.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Oh, we got shootouts in the NHL. We got home runs in Major League Baseball. Some kind of soccer thing going on.
We got touchdowns in the UFL, Gross.
Yeah,
the UFL starts today.
Is that right?
Yeah. I love how here in the CAZ Sports Book, the UFL is on the far screen. It's on the furthest screen.
I can't see it from here.
That's why you didn't even know it was on.
I can see soccer from here better than I can see the UFL. Draft, Jackson, NFL draft. We touched on it at the start of the show, but really looking forward to these stories continuing. But there's numbers behind this. There's numbers around movement, around players and trade. You're all over the numbers. Let's take a look right now at some of the numbers around the draft. What if we logged on to our favorite sportsbook app, what could we wager on right now?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ones. There's your typical draft specials. Who's the first running back going to be selected? Who's the first defensive player, cornerback, O-lineman? Who's going to be, like, what position is going to be Mr. Relevant? All those fun stuff like that. Even some player parlays, too. Like, will the 49ers draft Brendan Rice, Luke McCaffrey, and Frank Gore Jr.? Kind of a funny one there because Brendan Rice, son of Jerry Rice, Luke McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's brother, and Frank Gore Jr., obviously the son of Frank Gore. So some of those funny ones like that, but you get to the special ones, you can go by individual teams and see, which position group are they going to draft first. Like, for example, the Seahawks, they're minus 135 to draft an offensive lineman. They're plus 2,200 for quarterbacks. So do you think the Seahawks, could they go draft Penix? Place a couple dollars on quarterback right there and see if you're right. But the main one is pick numbers and in quarterback specials. Which is the first quarterback going to go off the board? Right now, the first quarterback off the board selected at minus 4,000, Caleb Williams. No shocker there.
No.
But now you get in discussion of the next three guys. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and J.J. McCarthy. Right now, the sportsbooks have Jaden Daniels as the second quarterback off the board at plus 1,200. They have him as the second favorite for the second overall pick at minus 160. And they've got Drake May as the third pick, minus 115. And they've got actually Marvin Harrison Jr. as the fourth pick at minus 150, followed by J.J. McCarthy at plus 175. But something to note, too, there's been different mock drafts, hearings, that J.J. McCarthy or Drake May could go at 2. So follow along with me, folks. Number 2 pick, second best odds, Drake May plus 170. J.J. McCarthy plus 275. Number 3 pick, they got Drake May minus 115, like I mentioned, followed by Jaden Daniels plus 160 and J.J. McCarthy plus 350. So, all on the table, 2, 3, and 4. If you feel confident that a prospect is going to go there, place a couple dollars on him, plus money.
It's zeroing in on that number 4 pick, right? Right now, the Cardinals hold the number 4 pick, and if the Cardinals stay, they draft Marvin Harrison Jr., and he's at minus 155. So right now, the sportsbook feels like that's where that's going to stay.
They feel the Cardinals are going to stick put and get Marvin Harrison Jr. Right.
And we didn't look at this earlier. I'd be really fascinated to go back and look and see where the numbers behind Marvin Harrison have moved from. Because you look at it right now, J.J. McCarthy is the next choice at number 4 at plus 240, which isn't a huge drop-off from Marvin Harrison. And I have a feeling if we would have looked at this 3 weeks or a month ago, that gap would have been much, much higher, and it wouldn't have been J.J. McCarthy there in the number 4 spot. So it does a couple things. It shows there's the thought that the Cardinals, Monty Ossenfort, may very well move out of that spot. And it goes to what we've talked about on the show a couple times, which is the stock rising on J.J. McCarthy.
Do you so flashback to last year? And I know these two prospects are different. And looking back on how he did in the NFL, definitely outperformed where he got drafted. But around this time last year, Will Levis was a name that was thrown up to be a top 5, top 10 first-round pick. Doesn't even get picked in the first round. I know sportsbooks had him heavily favored as a top 5, top 10 pick.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy right now to go top 5, he's minus 300. To go top 10, minus 1,200.
Wow.
How does he differ from Will Levis last year? And could potentially all this buzz cause J.J. McCarthy? I'm not saying out of the first round, but overhyped, and then he gets on the draft day outside the top 10. Your thoughts?
That would be fascinating. I'd forgotten about Will Levis.
People even said he had potential to go number 1.
And just if you're an agent or representative, whoever makes these decisions, like sending your guy to the draft, like, there's certain guys that are safe. And I think your point is well taken about J.J. McCarthy, but if you really want to be that guy that the camera is on constantly, number 17 pick is gone. Oh, Will Levis didn't go.
And it sucks too, because they show the guy who got picked, and then it's immediately it'd be JJ or to Will Levis right after, seeing their face, seeing them on their phone, or seeing their family around them, because Will Levis probably over under 105 camera shots the entire first round.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, geez.
It's partly Will Levis and partly the entourage that he had.
True, you're right. You are right. It's a good point.
At the draft, but point taken. But yeah, I mean that's an interesting thought, and I don't know whether it is J.J. McCarthy or one of these other guys who is the Will Levis of the 2024 draft. Somebody will fall with all of this, and the odds make sense to me that it's a quarterback, right? Because there's so much conversation building these guys up. Where was Jaden Daniels before October of this year? Like, Caleb Williams has been there since day one. Caleb Williams, he's been there. Drake May has been hanging around. Drake May.
Drake May's been hanging around there as top 3 for the past 2 years.
He's the prototypical quarterback. Like, you look at him.
The Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers comparisons.
Didn't have his draft stock was not predicated on team or individual success. Like, it's just physical, his body, physical, like what he is. So interesting. Like, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix. Like, I don't know who is the person that drops. Bo Nix? I don't know.
Yeah, and then who's going to be that surprise team that picks a quarterback that maybe no one even thought was coming? I mean, a team like the Rams, Matt Stafford's getting older. Does McVay say, hey, I want a guy like Bo Nix to sit a year or two and then play? Kind of like the Packers, how they did with Jordan Love. Do you see it seem like the Saints come in and say, hey, we want to get a quarterback. Maybe they trade up late in the first round and get a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix to sit behind Derek Carr. We've seen rumblings with the Raiders and the Broncos recently and the Vikings. Another team like the Seahawks, do they go and intrude there? So a lot of stuff to definitely bet on. I'm excited to talk more about the NFL draft. Lastly, Gross, before we head to break, I think these lines are pretty interesting. They got over-under totals for position groups selected in the first round. Quarterbacks, they got a over-under 4.5. It's minus 250 over, plus 200 under. 4.5. You do the math. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy. That'd be 4. Bo Nix, Michael Penix would be that 5th. Kind of like the over on that one. And then,
I like the over.
And then another one over under 6.5, which is plus money, plus 150, is wide receivers. Over under 6.5 wide receivers.
Can I bet whether or not a non-offensive player will be selected in like the top 10? Like, if you're a team in need of defense, this is a draft. The way this draft is going to play out, you could bide your time and tread water and move back subtly and still get what you need to get, because a lot of these teams have no interest in going defense with these early picks.
It's a good question. So the highest defensive player odds to get in the top 10, Dallas Turner minus 225, followed. So he's got the 4th best odds to be in the top 10, followed by Quinyon Mitchell at plus 320, Jared Verse plus 320, and then Latu at plus 500. The only team I could see that could get a defensive player would be Atlanta at 8. the Falcons getting a guy like Dallas Turner.
He's Jackson Groff. I'm Mike Gross. Jasmine Ritchie back in the studio. We step aside here. More to come on the other side.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Hashtag sexy roof status. At State 48 Roofing, we are family owned and operated, born and raised in Arizona. We'd love to give back to our schools and community. Contact us at state48roofing.com.
Jenny!
Hey, Jenny!
Jenny, come on in! Steve!
Hey, Steve!
Steve, how you doing?
Meg!
Meg, nice to see you! Hey, Meg!
Arena Sports Grill. Come on out for the sports, off-track betting, incredible food, and friendly faces. The best daily specials in Scottsdale. Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street in Bell. We know you.
A homeowner just like you.
Hey.
Decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the backside of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at wrighttoyota.com.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Postseason college hoops are here. Watch all the games at Twin Peaks. Enjoy incredible Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale draft specials from Four Peaks Brewing during all the games. Plus, sign up for free Win 910 on 910 bracket contest at fanpick'em.com. Win Twin Peaks fan cards at all rounds. Twin Peaks, your basketball headquarters.
Life's a constant swirl of shopping. Groceries, clothes, gifts, the occasional self-care splurge. You know how it is. That's why you should get the Drop app. With Drop, you earn points for shopping and turn those points into gift cards. Last year, I scored $150 in gift cards alone. Make sure to use code DROP23 when you sign up and get $5 in Drop points. That's DROP23. Get rewarded for shopping and download Drop now for free on the App Store or Google Play.
Pack your bags and stay close to the fun at Days Inn by Wyndham.
Oh, I can't wait for our upcoming vacation.
Me too. It's time to get away.
Will you find us a hotel?
Yeah.
With comfy rooms?
Oh, yeah.
And free Wi-Fi?
Uh-huh.
Close to the action near all my favorite things, right?
Right.
Well, do you have an idea about where we can stay?
I have 1,500 ideas.
We're still 20 minutes away from tip-off here.
Convenient Days Inn locations and earn Wyndham Rewards points on every stay. Days Inn, one of 24 trusted brands by Wyndham. Find your hotel at daysinn.com.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Coming up in our next segment, we make our picks of the week. Casey from the Sportsbook joins us. You notice, Jackson, yours truly has struggled mightily with the picks this year. Not the locks, but the picks. I actually was above 500 a week ago. And I was I forget what it was, Tennessee and Texas. Tennessee won, obviously, but Texas covered that 6.5. I was that close.
So
that
close
to a
so
perfect
far.
week. Just saying.
Our lock records are good, and I'm going to say our lock records right now so those listening can stay for our last segment. Mike Gross, 18-7. Mike Bauer, 14-9. I'm 15-10, and Casey's 11-9. So if you are any of our clients or you follow a specific person on the show, you got to be pretty happy, especially Mike Gross, 18-7. That's up 11 units.
Yeah, and I was gone for a couple weeks, and I think my timing was off. I put in a couple of locks. Totally my fault. And if you were paying me, I'd have to refund your money. But I'm doing all right. And I think we're going to stick with the NHL with the locks.
Hey, you've been good on your little goalie parlays there, Mike Gross.
They're not little goalie parlays. What the? Goal scoring parlays.
Sorry.
Anytime.
You had plus 400 last week. Those are good odds.
Just say little goalies. What? So disrespectful.
I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I was just saying little. We'll move on.
Yeah, let's take a quick peek back. As I said, we got in our next segment, we got our picks of the week coming up. So looking at the games, we'll do a drive-by, starting with today's games. We got 4 games on tap this weekend left, 2 today, 2 tomorrow. From Boston, the first game, speaking of from Boston, you've got at 3:09, Illinois and UConn, defending national champion and number 1 seed, as they host or they play Illinois. I mean, when you're from UConn, you're playing in Boston, it's essentially a home game. But they are favored 8.5 points, and the total, Jackson, 154.5. Look, they're the king till somebody beats them, right? And for them to run it back the way they did this year after winning it a year ago, nothing but impressive. And I look for that to continue this afternoon against Illinois.
Yeah, I think for Illinois against a good team like UConn, you got to make your free throws. 15-29 free throws against Iowa State is awful. 14 missed points off there. And if you watch that Illinois-Iowa State game, Illinois dominated from the jump, 36-26 at halftime. They definitely should have won by more than that. But I think for Illinois, their advantage here, UConn hasn't really seen a dominant scorer like Terrence Shannon Jr., a guy that just overtakes games. He's averaging 29 points in the tournament. Him alongside, they've got a lot of length. They rebound really well offensively. They have 12 rebounds, 29 defensive rebounds, 41 overall against Iowa State, who's a good rebounding team. But I think it's going to count for UConn to just not overlook Illinois. I know UConn is every time they've been favored during the tournament, they've covered every single one of these spreads, but the 8.5 is a lot against a good Illinois team.
Coming up in the Sugar Bowl, you've got wait a minute, it's the
Sugar Bowl, the national championship, the college football playoff,
the West region. You've got Alabama and Clemson, 4-seeded Alabama, 6-seeded Clemson. Alabama 3.5 point favorites. A matchup that nobody expected here in this one.
No, I think people had Alabama losing in the first round. I forget who they played in the first round. I know it was Charleston. Okay, and then they had Grand Canyon, which Grand Canyon and Alabama looked tight going into the game, and then Alabama pulled away. Underdog against UNC, and they're favored against Clemson. It'll be a fun matchup. I like Mark Sears versus Chase Hunter, PJ Hall versus Chase Brown. We've been talking about all these matchups all day. Chase Nelson, excuse me. But this will be a great matchup. So excited to watch it. Alabama 3.5 point favorite.
Clemson knocking out a number 3 seed in Baylor, a number 2 seed in Arizona. Any thought that this is a fluke should be out of your mind at this point, the way the Tigers are playing. All right, moving ahead to tomorrow's games, Jackson. You've got a pair of games that get underway a little bit earlier, 11:20 a.m. from Detroit. You've got Tennessee and Purdue. Here's your 1-2 matchup. This is the only 1-2 matchup, and it comes to you from the Midwest region. Purdue 3.5 point favorites over the Volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue 5.5 point favorite against Gonzaga. It was a tight game, and then around that 12-minute mark. That's one thing about Purdue is when it's a close game, and if their 3-point shooting's on and they can get Zach Edey and they're so balanced, it could be a 2-point game and then a 12-point game within about a 2-minute gap. So if Tennessee can limit the momentum switches, the momentum runs from Purdue, 3.5 points right here. I think if Tennessee can play like they did against Creighton, they've got a good shot to contend and cover that spread.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. The team, and we talked about this, the team with the pressure on them, even more so than the defending national champion, was Purdue, just because of the way the previous two tournaments ended. And now, they've shaken that gorilla off their back, and they're playing on house money right now.
I even think their coaches have a lot of pressure too. It's always been, can Matt Painter make the Final Four? Can Rick Barnes make the Final Four? And now one of them has an opportunity to make the Final Four. And Jay Wright said it last night, when you make the Final Four as a head coach, you're like set on an upper echelon. You move up a tier if you can get your team to the Final Four.
Well, 100% Matt Painter, because whatever else you were saying about the players, it was more focused on the coach. Because you look at teams that go out early. It happened in Arizona. Arizona fans questioning Tommy Lloyd. You look at what he's done since he's been here. Hasn't lost a back-to-back game since he's been the head coach of this team. But they're questioning Tommy Lloyd, losing to a team like Clemson. And Matt Painter certainly was in the crosshairs the way his team went out the last couple of years. The final one, an ACC matchup tomorrow at 2:05 p.m. That one from Dallas, Texas. You've got your South Region final, number 4, Duke, and number 11, NC State. And I said this earlier when we talked about it. This game is so interesting. If you just block out the names, and you saw that in the South Region, you had a 4 playing an 11 in the Elite 8 with the right to go to the Final Four. Everybody's excited about that. Hey, that's so cool. That's why we love Cinderella stories in March. Oh, wait, it's Duke and North Carolina State. Never mind. You know what I mean?
Especially now what you've seen NC State. I mean, again, 8 wins in 12 days. Everyone's familiar with them. Everyone knows this team's legit. They're not a Cinderella being an 11 seed, but again,
they were an 11 seed based on the body of work for the season.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're playing way over that.
Bingo.
Right now.
Both teams have great point guard, big matchups. You've got DJ Horn, former ASU Sun Devil fans. He had a great game against Marquette. DJ Burns versus Kyle Filipowski and Jeremy Roach up against Houston. I think it's so crazy to me that Matt O'Connell 3-pointer to tie against Virginia, if he does not make that shot, we're not even talking about this team today. That's what shows you how great March Madness is. The 6.5 there. I mean, how do you not go with NC State plus the points,
right? And
what they've looked like, and them being undefeated against the spread there, gross. I think Duke could probably win the game, but I think 6.5 is a lot for the Duke Blue Devils to cover. Even if they shoot lights out, this NC State team has shown they don't go away.
Yeah. Right now, and the other reason we love March Madness is if you play college athletics, like not big-time college athletics, any college athletics, March Madness funds essentially the operations for all the NCAA. Football money is always kept separate, right? Big-time college football doesn't get sent back to the NCAA. March Madness money doesn't. Right now on CBS, you've got your NCAA Division II championship playing on the stage, which I think is so cool. The only time these guys will get to play, you got Minnesota State playing Nova Southeastern looking to win back-to-back national championships. Hello, UConn. Nova Southeastern out of the Miami area in South Florida. And that game is closing in on halftime on CBS, which, like I said, I think is so cool. They run a 64-team bracket for Division II, Division III, all of it. And it's funded by the team that March Madness gets, which is good for all these guys. So if you're interested, you've got live college basketball right now on CBS. As soon as we're done here, feel free to flip over and watch that game.
And we got to bring up, because our fine producer in the back is a big women's college basketball fan. A lot of women college basketball on today. The odds-on favorite to win the women's national championship. How about this? South Carolina minus 210. When have you ever seen a team, any sport, basketball, NBA, NFL, college basketball, whatever, be a minus to win the whole thing? It's incredible. It's incredible. South Carolina minus 210, followed by LSU plus 700, LSU plus 800, and UConn at plus 1700.
What else was cool about some of these, the NIL money kids are able to get, the TV commercials that are out there. And Caitlin Clark, obviously not a secret to anybody anymore, but, where they find another person named Caitlin Clark. I think it said it's a city planner from Scottsdale, Arizona, and she's in the gym doing what Caitlin Clark does. I just love those commercials. She's standing there beyond the three-point arc, this non-basketball playing Caitlin Clark. She goes, wait a minute, you want me to shoot it from here? Hey, Caitlin Clark's like, yeah, that's kind of my game. I just think, the amount of money that's out there because of college basketball on the men's and women's side, and to see them being able to share in that now is, I think, pretty cool.
It's pretty incredible how she's changed just a sport in general with the all big 3 contract coming up and with the WNBA and how potentially her going there could raise the pay of the WNBA. And it's pretty incredible, and she's humble for it, and I don't think she really boasts about all the fame and stuff. It's just her play on the court has attracted all these fans to go watch her today on ESPN.
We'll step aside here. On the other side, we make our picks, and the Sportsbook joins us. That's coming up next. Final segment of the show.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Interested in Caitlin Clark and her incredible shooting. It's must-see TV if you're around TV and you love to see somebody put up a three-pointer a la Steph Curry kind of thing that made that a phenomenon. It ain't about women's college basketball.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Monday at 4 on your smart speaker. Say play Fox Sports 910.
You ever have a case of the Mondays?
You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Right Toyota. Hey, Rob, for my friends at Right Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Right Toyota. Right Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice, Right Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
At Van's Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all, the collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new Ping G730 and I-530 irons. The G730 irons are Ping's longest and most forgiving irons, while the I-530s fit golfers who want more distance in a player's design and are engineered for higher launch and more. Visit us in store at Van's Golf Shops or online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
And college hoops are here. Watch all the games at Twin Peaks. Enjoy incredible Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale draft specials from Portland during all the games. Plus, sign up for a free Win 910 on 910 bracket contest at fanpick'em.com.
I don't know, guys.
Win Twin Peaks fan cards at all rounds. Twin Peaks, your basketball
little
headquarters.
goalie parlay.
that
you may be in financial trouble. Late mortgage
Making
payments,
fun of my
paying
little
bills.
goalie parlay.
We're just doing the one credit card with another. If
all
you're
before
experiencing
games.
financial hardship, bankruptcy may be right for you. The credit industry wants you to believe that bankruptcy is
talking about how
bad
the
and will
Suns have
destroy
greater
your
odds
credit
to go to the
forever,
play-in
but that's
tournament than the
just
playoffs.
not true.
Oh, wow.
At Lerner and Rowe Law Group, we'll take the time to carefully examine your
Is that the
situation
Celtics
and
minus
develop a
6.5
plan that is
tonight
right
against
for
the
you.
Pelicans?
Call Lerner and Rowe Law Group today for a free consultation.
Learning and growth is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Sean Forster, managing attorney.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Join Fox Sports 910's Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B for their Hoops Finals weekend in the new showroom at Talking Stick Resort. Win cash with free props and squares contests.
gosh.
3 big screen TV giveaways. That's
imagine
the Hoops
sports
Finals
like, why are we
weekend
getting all
at
these
Talking
headphones?
Stick Resort April
Jonte
6th
Porter
and 8th.
guy.
The free
I didn't know
iHeartRadio
Michael
app has
Porter
over
Jr. had a
100
brother.
commercial-free stations like Freeform Radio.
But I actually do like the NCAA canceling the college props.
Search Freeform Radio and listen now on your free iHeartRadio.
Yeah, our state, yeah, obviously not, but
free never sounded so
prize
good.
picks you can still do college. That's one thing you can do prize picks, but you've got to pair them up. You can't just bet one. You can't bet on you can't do yourself.
Okay, then
You can do
just
the same
answer a
player
few
for 2. It has to be
questions
2
and you'll
different
get a
players.
offer in
Yeah.
seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop off, and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
No, you can't put that much money on a bet on.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as
can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.
Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Time for the best bets, locks, and daily wager picks, courtesy of the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Now joining the guys is CAZ Sportsbook expert Casey Walsh. From Boston. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Anything's possible! Casey, welcome in, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Oh, we're loving it. Every Saturday we spend out here is a good day. So we're doing well. Putting a wrap on the show, getting ready to do our picks. But how's the crowds been for March Madness out here?
They've been really busy. I mean, obviously right now it's pretty dead with just baseball on, but it'll pick up for the afternoon games into the nightcap for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet. And then big news here. I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about it, but what the heck. Sportsbook up at Talking Stick Resort as well.
Yeah. We opened that a week ago, last Friday.
You're good. And it's amazing. It's an amazing setup. And Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort taking good care of you. So, all right, Jackson, let's do this. How about since we're added a game, we got to keep an eye on the clock. Let's jump into this week's games.
Yeah, we're going to do all four of the final, the Elite Eight games going on for today and tomorrow. Let's start out with Illinois versus UConn. UConn an 8.5-point favorite. Over-under stands at 156.5. And I might be wrong on this, guys, but I'm going to go Illinois plus 8.5. I think they cover, but I think UConn wins. Gross.
I was so close to following you on that one. What you said earlier in the show about that makes some sense. You get out there into an early lead if you're Illinois, and you're 8.5. If you got a 8-point lead, all of a sudden you're at 16.5, and that's a big hill to overcome, even if you don't win it outright. But this is UConn. This is UConn's tournament. They're playing in Boston. I'm taking UConn.
Yeah, I'm going to go with UConn in this game as well. I mean, I know Illinois is much better than San Diego State. I thought San Diego State plus 12 the other day was too many points, just being bet up by the public. But yeah, UConn, every tournament game, they won by 13 plus. I'll go with them in this one.
All right, so
Bauer's got UConn as well.
Got UConn. I like Terrence Shannon Jr. I'm going with Illinois, like I mentioned. Clemson versus Alabama. Alabama 3.5-point favorite. I like this Clemson team. PJ Hall, Ian Shefflin, Chase Hunter. I can go on and on and on. Joe Girard. Give me Clemson to cover the 3.5 and pull the upset.
I did follow you on that one as well. I got Clemson 3.5 as well.
All right, I'll go a little diversity. I'll fade you guys. Give me Alabama minus the 3.5.
And Bauer agrees with you. He's got Alabama as well.
All right, Tennessee versus Purdue. The only chalk matchup we have, the 1 versus 2 in the Midwest region. Purdue 3.5-point favorite. The over/under is 147.5. And I hate to say it, but this Zach Edey kid is special. This Purdue team is legit. Give me Purdue to cover 3.5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like Purdue. Being a Big Ten fan, a fan of a Big Ten team not named Purdue, but he's good. You called it. The guard play so much better this year than it has been the last couple of years. I like Purdue in this one.
I'm going to go with Purdue as well.
Purdue. We all went Purdue, including Bauer. And lastly, NC State, 11 seed NC State versus Duke. Duke's a 6.5-point favorite, 143.5 is the total. I like Duke to win, but I think NC State covers. I think NC State's not going away. They've played Duke before. It's going to be a close game, but I think NC State covers.
I think teams not in the ACC maybe got a little bit surprised by this NC State team a little bit, and Duke won't be. Duke's already beaten them twice this year, played them late in the regular season. I think Duke wins this one, and I think they cover the 6.5.
I'm going to go Duke in this game as well, minus the 6.
Wow, I'm the lone wolf there, huh?
Yeah,
NC State.
Bauer's got Duke as well. All right, Jackson, your lock. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, play the lock.
It's time for Take the Points to give you their locks for the weekend. Live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Okay, gambling degenerates, what are your locks? By the way, you better be gambling responsibly.
show host not paying
nice
attention.
Transition there, Mike Gross.
Yeah, I know. I shouldn't do that.
One for the business.
Leave it for the pros.
I'm going to have you go first because I still have not had my lock.
All right, my lock of the week. I'm sticking in the National Hockey League. I've been on a little bit of a run, but I won't have Austin Matthews in this week because I don't want to go to that well too many times. I've got anytime goal scorer prop. Tage Thompson, McKinnon for the Avs. That's plus 423, and I think it's going to hit. McKinnon, Thompson, goal parlay in the National Hockey League today.
I'm going to go with the game that we already picked. I'm going to go with Duke minus the 6. A couple weeks ago, they had this game against NC State on a neutral site at minus 11. Now they got it down to minus 6. I think that's a overreaction to a 5-point spread. Give me Duke minus the 6.
Am I allowed to copy somebody's lock, or do I have to come with my complete own lock?
Do what you got to do, man.
Because shout out to our producer, Richie. He put this on the lineup. I'm going to ride his pick. Give me the D-backs minus 1.5 against the Rockies. And I'm going to give it to Richie. Explain why you picked D-backs 1.5. You can explain because you put it on first. But this D-backs team, man, playing really well against the Rockies.
The Rockies are ass, bro. What else can I tell you? Did you watch the last 2 games? They have no offense, and the Diamondbacks are rolling. They're a wagon. The Snakes are alive. Minus 1.5. If I could take a minus 4.5, I would.
Whoa!
There you go.
An MLB game. I like that, Richie.
Well, and Bauer put something out there about the Diamondbacks and the something about the points. I forget what it was. It was just something about the Cardinals didn't do last year. I'm like, yeah, but how many times did the Cardinals get to play the Colorado Rockies last year? That's really the question to look at, because Richie is 100% right. I think he said a different word, but I will say they're not very good. And 1.5, yeah. If I didn't have a great NHL parlay for you, I'd take advantage of that. Casey, Elite 8 games going on today and tomorrow here at the Sportsbook. You guys are here for the duration.
Yeah, we're here every day, 8 a.m. through 11 p.m. Kiosks are 24/7. Same hours apply here as they do over at Talking Stick.
What kind of bets have you guys seen for the Elite 8?
So far today, biggest bet we've taken was on UConn minus the 8.5.
Wow.
We'll see a lot more trickling later, closer to game time, but so far today, that's the biggest bet of the day.
And how full do you expect to get today and tomorrow for these Elite 8 games?
Every seat in the sportsbook will be filled up. The restaurants will be filled up.
That's awesome.
They got beer, drink specials throughout the game, so it brings in quite a bit of people.
And a great team here to take care of you. We talk all the time about the guys at the Sportsbook. I had breakfast today. They took good care of me. Food, drink, great stuff here at the CAZ Sportsbook always.
Yeah, they need to bring that breakfast sandwich back, though. I'm not going to lie. We need that back. We've been preaching it for a while. It's been about 5-6 months since we've devoured one of those delicious breakfast sandwiches. But what a great show we had today, girls. Talk NFL draft, talk NBA, Suns, college basketball. A lot going on in the sports betting world, my friend.
Lots going on. Happy to bring it to you. Stay tuned. Rock and Manuch, Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 here on the station. They'll be here at Casino Arizona on Monday afternoon.
And then quickly, next Saturday, our show is going to be at Talking Stick, the new sports book, sports room, showroom. We will be there next Saturday, 11 to 1.
Thanks to everybody here at Casino Arizona and the CAZ Sportsbook. Thanks to Jasmine and Richie back in the studio. For Bauer, for Jackson, I'm Gross. We'll see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. right here on Fox Sports 910.